The day when a white black belt taekwondo tried to mess with a black janitor, but faced the consequences. The whole martial arts room turned into silence and shock. There's a moment just before everything changes, when the world seems to pause, a breath held, a silence before the storm. That moment came on a quiet Tuesday night at the Apex Martial Arts Academy in Atlanta, Georgia. It wasn't a tournament night. No banners hung from the ceiling. No crowds filled the bleacher. Just a hum of fluorescent lights, the scent of sweat and floor wax, and the soft shuffle of students packing up after another long session. But what happened that night would echo through every student's memory for the rest of their lives. Because sometimes greatness doesn't walk in with a trophy. Sometimes it mops the floor first. The Apex Martial Arts Academy wasn't just a gym. It was a temple of discipline. Founded in 1992 by Master Lin Wei, a legendary grandmaster who had trained under Okinawan masters and competed in underground circuits across Asia, the academy had become a beacon for martial excellence in the Southeast. Its walls were lined with photos, black and white shots of Lin's youth, sparring barefoot on temple ground, standing beside aging senseis with eyes like steel. Trophies gleamed under glass, scrolls hung in frames, written in Japanese calligraphy. The fist begins with the mind. The mind begins with stillness. Every student who walked through those doors was taught the same creed: respect, discipline, humility. But like all places built on ideals, not everyone lived by them, and none more so than Ryan Caldwell. Ryan was the academy's golden boy. Tall, athletic, with chiseled features and a jawline that looked like it was carved by a sculptor. He had everything: natural talent, drive, and a social media following of over 200,000. Third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. Two-time regional champion. Instructor in training. He trained 6 days a week. Posted daily videos of his kicks, his forms, his warrior mindset. His Instagram bio read, "Not born a warrior, forged." And while he was technically skilled, there was something beneath the surface. Something sharp. A hunger for recognition. A need to prove he was the best. Not just among students, but above all, that night, after a particularly strong sparring session where he'd knocked down 3 opponents in a row, Ryan was buzzing with adrenaline. He strutted across the training hall, laughing with friends, flexing his arm. And that's when he saw him. At the far end of the room, moving with quiet precision, was Elias Thompson. He was in his late 50s, lean but wiry, with deep-set eyes that seemed to hold centuries of story. His skin was dark, weathered by time, and his salt and pepper hair was cropped close. He wore the standard janitor's uniform: gray pants, white shirt, faded sneakers, and a name tag that read, Elias, Care and Cleanliness. He'd worked at the academy for over 12 years. Quiet, punctual, never late, never loud. He cleaned the mats after every class, wiped down the mirrors, mopped the floors with a rhythm so steady. Students said it sounded like a metronome, and yet there was something about him. The way he moved, not hurried, not slow, precise, like every step had purpose, like every motion was calculated. Some students had whispered about it. "Dude, have you seen how he walks? Like he's floating, or like he's ready to fight at any second." But no one ever asked, because Elias never spoke unless spoken to. And when he did, it was soft, calm, measured. That night, as Ryan watched him mop near the sparring circle, something stirred in him, part amusement, part ego. He turned to his friend. "You ever think," Ryan said, smirking, "that Mr. Thompson here might have been a fighter back in the day?" His friend Jake snorted. "Dude, he's a janitor. Probably spent his life cleaning toilets." Ryan stepped forward. "Hey, Mr. Thompson." Elias paused, mop in hand. Turned slowly. "Yes, Mr. Caldwell? You ever think about taking a class here? You've got the build. Look at those shoulders." Elias gave a small, polite smile. "I've got my own kind of training, son. Mopping floors keeps me balanced." The students laughed. Ryan grinned. "Come on, man. I'm serious. What if I gave you a quick lesson? Just for fun. Light sparring. No contact." Elias shook his head gently. "I'm on the clock, and I don't spar." Ryan's ego flared. He turned to the growing crowd. "Come on, guys. Let's give Mr. Thompson a chance. I'll go easy. Promise. What do you say?" Someone shouted, "Do it, Elias." Another yelled, "Show the black belt what the janitor's got." Phones came out. Cameras rolled. Elias looked around, not with fear, not with anger, just awareness. Finally, he set the mop aside, removed his work shoe, rolled up the cuffs of his pants, and stepped onto the mat barefoot. "I'll spar," he said, voice low, "but not for fun." Ryan blinked. "What do you mean?" Elias met his eyes. "Martial arts is not a game. It's a path, and if you walk it carelessly, you fall." Then, with a deep, formal bow, one hand over his heart, the other palm up, like an ancient salute, Elias assumed his stand. The room fell silent. Ryan, still smirking, bowed back, playfully, one hand behind his head. "Let's keep it light," he said. No hard shot, just a little footwork. Ryan threw a quick jab, just a tap, a test. Elias didn't block. He shifted a half inch to the left. So subtle, it looked like a trick of the light. The punch missed by a hair. Ryan blinked. Whoa, lucky. He tried a roundhouse kick, controlled under 50%, a show of speed. Elias stepped forward inside the arc of the kick and placed 2 fingers gently against Ryan's rib. Stop, Elias said. Ryan froze. It wasn't a strike. It wasn't even pressure, but it felt like a jolt, like a nerve had been lit from within. His breath caught. He stumbled back. The room gasped. Ryan laughed nervously. Okay, you got me. Good reflex. He came in faster now. Combo, jab, cross, front kick. Fast, sharp, textbook perfect. Elias didn't retreat. He flowed. He parried the jab with the back of his wrist, redirected the cross with a palm deflection, and caught the front kick midair, not with force, but with perfect timing, like plucking a leaf in the wind. Then, with a soft push, he sent Ryan stumbling backward, completely off balance. Silent. Ryan's face flushed. All right, no more game. He launched into a full offensive, spinning back kick, flying side kick, rapid hand combination. Every move was sharp, powerful, flawless. And Elias danced. He didn't block. He didn't dodge. He intercepted. Every strike was met not with resistance, but with redirection, like water parting around a stone. He used Ryan's momentum against him, guiding him into awkward positions, unbalancing him with minimal touch. Then, in one fluid motion, Elias stepped inside, placed his left hand on Ryan's shoulder, and tapped his right index finger against Ryan's temple. Dead, Elias said softly. The room froze. Ryan stood there, chest heaving, eyes wide. He hadn't even seen the move. No one clapped. No one spoke. Then, from the back, an elderly man in a tracksuit stepped forward. It was Master Lin. Master Lin was 78 years old, a legend, a man who had fought in underground dojos in Okinawa, trained with masters who no longer existed, and founded Apex with a single principle: true strength is silent. He looked at Elias with wide eyes. Then, slowly, he bowed, deep, full, with both hands open at his sides. Elias returned the bow, identical. Master Lin's voice was barely a whisper. That stance, that movement. Hakyokuryu. Elias nodded. You remember it. Master Lin's hands trembled. I thought it was lost. I studied under Master Kenzo in Okinawa, but he only taught 5 students, and one of them disappeared during the war. His name was Samuel Thompson. Elias exhaled. My father. The room erupted and whispered. Master Lin stepped closer. You're Elias Thompson, the boy who vanished after the dojo burned in 69? Elias nodded. I was 8. My father died protecting the scroll. I was sent to America, raised by relatives. I never spoke of it, never needed to. You mastered it? Lin whispered. Elias shrugged. It mastered me. I trained every day, in silence, in peace, not for trophies, not for ego, for balance. Ryan stood frozen, humbled. You never said anything. Elias looked at him, not with anger, but with sorrow. You asked to spar for fun. But martial arts isn't a game. It's a responsibility. You have the belt, but do you have the heart? Ryan dropped to one knee, not in defeat, but in respect. I'm sorry, he whispered. I didn't know. Elias helped him up. Now you do. Later that night, after the students had left and the cameras were put away, Master Lin sat with Elias in the empty dojo, tea steamed between them. Tell me, Lin said, what happened after the fire? Elias stared into his cup. It was 1969. Our dojo was in Kyoto. My father was the last living master of Hakyokuryu, the way of the white sun, a style older than karate, born from Zen monks who needed to defend without violence. Lin nodded, non-resistant, redirecting energy, using the opponent's force against them. Exactly, Elias said, but during the student riot, extremists targeted traditional schools. They called us symbols of oppression. One night, they came with torches. His voice grew quiet. My father stood at the entrance, alone. He didn't fight. He just waited when they attacked. He moved like water, disarmed 3 men with 2 fingers. But there were too many. They set the scrolls on fire. Elias closed his eyes. He died, saving them. I was hiding in the attic. A monk found me, smuggled me to America, gave me a new name, a new life, and you never told anyone? I didn't want a past, Elias said. I wanted peace, so I became a janitor. Clean floors, clean mind. Every day, I trained in secret. At dawn, in the park, in silence. Lin bowed his head. You preserve a legacy that was thought extinct. Elias smiled faintly. I just lived it. The next morning, the video was everywhere. White Taekwondo black belt humiliated by black janitor. What happens next will shock you. It had 500,000 views in 6 hours. News outlets picked it up. Atlanta janitor revealed as secret martial arts master. Forgotten style resurrected in Georgia dojo. But the most shocking part? Ryan Caldwell deleted all his social media. He didn't speak to the press. He didn't defend himself. Instead, he showed up at 5:30 a.m. the next day before the academy opened, and he waited. When Elias arrived with his mop and cleaning cart, Ryan was on one knee. "I want to learn," Ryan said. "Not the move, the way." Elias looked at him. "You'll have to start at the beginning. I'll clean the mat, mop the floor, do whatever you say." Elias nodded. "Then you'll start tomorrow." At 5 a.m., a week later, a new sign appeared on the academy door. "The Silent Path, a class for those who seek not victory, but understanding. No belt, no rank, no ego. Taught by Elias Thompson. Beginner session, 6 a.m. daily." Master Lin stood beside it, smiling. And every morning at dawn, a small group gathered, students, teachers, even curious locals. They didn't wear uniform. They didn't bow to Ryan. They bowed to Elias. And he taught them not how to fight, but how to listen to their breath, to their opponent, to the silence between movement. He taught them that strength isn't in the kick. It's in the stillness before it. That true power doesn't shout. It waits. Months passed. Ryan changed. He stopped posting video, stopped chasing trophies. He trained in silence, swept floors, learned to meditate. One day, Master Lin called him aside. "You've come far," Lin said. "But tell me, why do you train now?" Ryan didn't hesitate. "To protect, not to prove." Lin smiled. "Good, then you're ready." He handed Ryan a simple white belt, untied. "This was your first belt. I kept it. But now it's not about rank. It's about return to the beginning." Ryan took it, tied it slowly, and for the first time in his life, he felt light. One evening, a young boy, no older than 10, watched Elias mop the floor. "Mister," he asked, "are you a real fighter?" Elias paused, smiled. "I was one. Can you teach me?" Elias knelt. "What do you want to learn?" "To be strong." Elias shook his head. "Strength isn't about breaking board. It's about holding space. For others, for yourself." He placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "If you want to learn, come tomorrow at 5:30. Bring a mop." The boy grinned. "Yes, sir." As he ran off, Elias looked up at the wall, where a new scroll now hung, handwritten in ink. "The greatest warrior is not the one who conquers. It is the one who chooses not to." Below it, in smaller text, "Hakkyō-Kuryu, preserved by Elias Thompson." Years later, the Apex Martial Arts Academy was renamed the Thompson Lin School of Silent Strength. Ryan Caldwell became a teacher, not combat, but of humility. Master Lin passed peacefully at 86, surrounded by students who bowed not to his title, but to his spirit. And Elias, he still mopped the floors every morning, because he believed that true mastery wasn't in being seen, it was in being unseen. And when the students asked why he never wore a belt, he'd smile and say, "The belt was never the mark of the master, it was the mark of the student, and I'm still learning." So the next time you see someone in a uniform you don't understand, pause, because greatness doesn't always wear a black belt. Sometimes it wears a name tag. And sometimes it's the one cleaning up the mess the rest of us leave behind. Never judge a man by his shoes, especially if he's barefoot on the mat.